Brandon Perdue and his frat buddy Mike Kottke sat on a rock underneath a big fir tree, near where their Jeep had skidded off a Forest Service road into a ditch and run over a sapling. They were passing a bottle of Captain Morgan's spiced rum and a joint back and forth between them. There was no cell service this far up in the mountains, and it was getting dark. But they were already too drunk and stoned to hike out. And besides, it was a good 10 miles to the nearest paved road. There was no chance someone else would come along the road they'd taken on their drunken joyride. It was closed, and they weren't supposed to be there. The only thing to do, Brandon told his buddy Mike, was to sit under a tree and get messed up. "Don't bogart that joint, my friend," sang Kottke in a cracked voice, holding out a hand. "Get wrecked, dude." Perdue handed it over to Kottke, who took a toke while offering the bottle in return. "Dude, you let it go out," Kottke complained, holding the reefer out at arm's length and staring at it disapprovingly. Perdue handed him the lighter. Kottke fussed with it, swearing as the wind picked up. He finally got the joint fired up and sucked in a lungful of smoke. "It's getting cold, man," said Perdue, tilting up the plastic bottle of rum. "No shit, Einstein. We're only at 10,000 feet above sea level." Kottke looked at the roach. "This is finito." He tossed it. "Got another? Suck on this." Perdue fumbled in his day pack and drew out a big Bertha, lit it, and held it out to his friend. God, he was high. The big trees around them were all moving in the wind. Or maybe they weren't moving at all, and it was just his brain that was moving. But it was getting colder by the minute. It was Halloween, and it might go below freezing that night. Definitely would go below freezing. They couldn't spend the night in the Jeep, tilted as it was in the ditch, its windshield broken, the interior strewn with glass. On top of that, there was a smell of gasoline that made Perdue guess the sapling had punctured the tank. If they tried to start up the Jeep for warmth, they might blow themselves up. What were they going to do? They couldn't stay out here in the open, drinking and smoking until they passed out and froze to death. Perdue pushed the thought out of his mind as he took another pull on the bottle of rum. That would warm him up, at least temporarily. "Brandon, you feel that?" Kottke yelled. Perdue's head swam back into focus. "What?" "Rain. I felt it on my face. A drop of rain." Perdue took another gulp from the bottle. As he did, he felt something cold touch his cheek. Kottke reached into his day pack, pulled out a flashlight, and turned it on. He shone it up into the sky. "It's snowing!" "Oh, Jesus." Perdue let out a groan. Snow. Of course. In the Monzano Mountains at 10,000 feet. In late October. They were screwed. "Hey," said Kottke. "We've got to find some shelter. Seriously." Perdue groaned again. Shelter? They didn't have a tent, sleeping bags, nothing. Just light jackets. Was there a blanket in the Jeep? He couldn't remember, but didn't think so. "Light a fire?" Perdue finally said. "That's not gonna stop the snow. We gotta find, shelter, man." Now Perdue could feel the cold sting of snow against his face. The wind was rising. Kottke stood up and circled the area with his flashlight. The ground sloped down into a forest of fir trees. Kottke shouldered his pack and took a few steps forward, shining the beam left and right. "What are you doing?" Perdue said. "What do you think? Get up and let's go find a place to spend the night. We can hike back down in the morning." Perdue lurched to his feet, fighting a sudden rush of dizziness. He followed Kottke down the slope into the forest, stumbling and shuffling. The temperature was plunging and snowflakes swirled around them. Far below, Purdue could see the distant lights of Albuquerque's South Valley, dissolving in the haze of snow,